Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio. So today, we are looking at the first ever Blacephalon card. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, we'd seen the artwork for the Sun and Moon 8 pack in Japan. Explosive Impact. We knew we were getting a Blacephalon. We knew we were getting a Blacephalon GX. It was just a question of what it did and whether it was a fire type or a psychic type. Good news is we know it's a fire type. Better news is we know what it does. Of course, our translation comes from the lovely David Hochmann over at Pokemon TCG. And I should point out that this will be released in UK, US, Europe, etc. in the Lost Thunder expansion, which is coming out the first Friday in November. So, what does it do? Well, it is a fire Pokemon. And that's quite nice. It means you're hitting weakness against both your grass Pokemon like Blacephalon, as well as your metal Pokemon like Duskmane Necrozma. You have got a weakness to water, which at the moment really isn't too bad. Maybe Glaceon GX sees an increase in play with Garbodor going away, and fewer options to item lock. But other than that, water's not really a hugely prevalent type at the moment. Retreat cost of 2 is a little bit annoying because it means Escape Board will not give free retreat, but you can't have everything. And 180 HP is right in the middle of basic GX territory. It's not down at 170 with Tapu Lele, but it's not up at 180 with stuff like Buzzwole. It is very much right in the middle. Now, being a fire Pokemon, you got a few little extra tricks. You have, of course, got Kiawe to accelerate a little bit of extra energy. And let's not forget we've got Flint now, which lets you discard 2 cards from your hand, search your deck for 2 basic fire energy and put them into your hand. And there is a new stadium, which we'll be talking about very shortly indeed. So the basics here, not too bad, but what does it do? Well, 1 fire energy, and you get automatic burn, and automatic confusion. The defending Pokemon is now confused and burned 1 basic fire energy. This is fine. It's not amazing, but it's a single energy attack on a basic Pokemon, so you can get it rolling very quickly. If you go second, this is a pretty good turn 1 kind of attack. And it's useful. Burn puts 2 damage counters on, then you flip a coin. And if heads, you're no longer burned. If tails, you're still burned. Then you take 2 damage counters after each turn. So you guarantee at least 2 damage counters from this attack here. And I should mention that in Dragon Majesty, we are getting Weller Volcano Park, which does actually say that if you flip heads on burn, you're still burned. It doesn't go away. And let's not forget that we have got Infernape. And you could either go for the fighting one from Forbidden Light or the fire one from Ultra Prism. Either would be fine. And that means that you would do 6 damage counters rather than 2 with burn. So burn's kind of useful. But do you really want a stage 2 to back this up? I would suggest arguably not. Then as for confusion, they got to flip a coin if they want to attack. If tails, they fail and take 3 damage counters. This is a nice I've got nothing better turn 1 attack. Bit of disruption, little bit of damage, forces them to try and get out of the active. It's a decent little attack, but it's a very much a starter for 10 attack. It's nothing more than that. The second attack, however, 2 fire energy, 50 damage. You may put as much of your fire energy in play as you like. This attack does 50 damage for each card discarded. Now, David's translation here says energy, not basic energy, so that means that something like a counter energy, if you were behind on prizes, or a rainbow energy would count here, but it does say energy card discarded, so counter energy you could discard and it would do 50 damage, but it would not do 100 damage. It would count as 1 fire energy, not 2. And I want to point out here that this card interacts with the Lost Zone. We talked about Lugia GX the other day. I did a video about it, pop a link in the description. And I said that after Lysander's Prism Star, which had been the first card in 7 years to kind of put cards into the Lost Zone, properly interact with it, it looks like the Lost Zone is really back as a proper mechanic, and this seems to back that up. both of the cover Pokemon have attacks which interact with the Lost Zone, which put cards into the Lost Zone, so I think at this stage it's probably fair to assume that the Lost Zone is coming back, and we are getting a lot of cards now that are going to be putting cards into the Lost Zone, far more than just your Prism Star, it goes there when it's been used malarkey. So, 50 damage for each fire energy you put in the Lost Zone, and it's from any of your Pokemon. Now, a lot of you at this stage will probably be thinking of the old Magnezone Prime card. I know I am, because this is what Magnezone Prime did. Now, to be fair, Magnezone's attack was for a lightning colourless, and you could Lost Zone any energy cards, not just ones that provided fire energy. But other than that, it's pretty much the same attack. And it was very, very good when it was Magnezone's attack. In fact, I've done a video about Magnezone Ember, I'll pop that in the description as well. Here's the deal though, it was Magnezone Ember. This was good because Magnezone was a draw engine, and Ember let you attach as many fire energy as you like, which you then discarded to do extra energy. The very rare example of a dual stage 2 deck that actually worked. So really here, if we're going to use Blacephalon, we're going to need to accelerate some energy. Now, if you go into the expanded format, you've got Max Elixir, and this is a basic Pokemon, so you can get some energy on that way, but we've got better options. First of all, we've got B-String. And B-String with Blacephalon is going to be one of those cards whereby it really could make or break the entire game. So essentially every B-String you play here is an extra 100 damage at some point during the game, and it really is worth pointing out here that because you're only putting 2 energy on Blacephalon but then you can discard from anywhere, when Blacephalon goes down you don't lose all of your energy. That's really cool. So if you can get 4 B-String off when your opponent's got 3 or 4 prizes remaining, you're going to be absolutely golden. But if you can't, you could be in trouble. This is great energy acceleration, but Blacephalon really needs, most of the time, 3 fire energy Lost Zoned per turn. So you're essentially going to need, once per turn, your basic energy for the turn, and your B-String. Or you're not going to be able to get this working so well. That's going to be a slight issue. But if you can get your B-String off, it's going to be great. Now, in terms of numbers here, really free energy is the main one you want. Free energy plus a choice band is 180, and stuff like Tapu Lele and Rayquaza is going down. Unfortunately, you will just be missing some Pokemon like Buzzwole, though you could use Shrine of Punishments here, although you would have to take a damage counter yourself. If you were to discard 4 energy, then you would get basically everything here. Because with a choice band, you're up to 230, so there's stuff like Gardevoir, and without a choice band, you're at 200, so stuff like Buzzwole will be going down. Worth pointing out that with weakness, 2 energy will get Duskmane Necrozma, but it won't get Golisopod because you'll only be doing 200. Of course, possibly the best use for this is in Magcargo. Now, I did do a video about Magcargo the other day. I will also link that one in the description. Do always check the description. I do link videos in there you should watch for a little bit of extra information on what we're talking about. Kind of like a reading list, or a list of footnotes. Whatever sounds nicer. A Magcargo GX lets you discard the top card of your deck. If it's a basic energy, you attach it to one of your Pokemon. And then Magcargo from Celestial Storm lets you fix your top deck to guarantee that you've got an energy. And I said that Quad Magcargo is a viable deck whereby you accelerate energy and attack with Magcargo GX. Well, in that deck, Blacephalon with this attack, great. Firstly, it gives you a decent turn 1 option, which Magcargo doesn't really have. And secondly, this is an attack which fits very, very nicely with Magcargo, and I could see this fitting really nicely into that deck. You need energy acceleration for this attack. But between Magcargo and B-String, you've probably got it. I should also mention that being an Ultra Beast, you've also got Beast Energy to do an extra 30 damage, and you have got Ultra Space to help you search this out, but I don't think they're going to be massively relevant. That's why I didn't mention them at the beginning, because honestly, I see this fitting way better into something like a Magcargo deck, where you're probably not going to want to play those cards, though you could play a full Ultra Beast deck with B-String, etc. Now, as for the GX attack, it's weirdly worded. It says, discard one of your prize cards. If it's an energy, attach it to one of your Pokemon in play. Again, the translation we have from David here is energy, not basic energy. So we can assume that it is any energy. not just basic energy, which is really nice if you were to hit something like a counter energy or a double colourless. I'm fairly sure, though, that the ruling for beast energy wouldn't work here, because it gets discarded, at which point beast energy goes to the lost zone, and it's gone. Which is a little bit sad, but hey-ho. So I don't think this would work with beast energy. I think that would get lost zoned. And the great thing here is, it might accelerate energy, but it's taking a prize. This is basically Kartana's GX attack, except instead of putting it in your hand, you discard it, but attach it if it is an energy card. Now, it is for 1 energy, just like Kartana's, and this is great. There's no argument about that. Kartana took a little bit of a while to see play, but Kartana has seen a fair bit of play in recent months. People have started realizing how useful Kartana can be. This gives you a prize. Now, it doesn't give you a card advantage because you don't get to take the prize, and it doesn't give you a board advantage. But then again, N is rotating. One of the awkward things about using Kartana's GX attack in the early game was you use it, and then your opponent can N you to a lower hand size. But N's not going to be around in the standard format anymore, so it's going to be much more difficult for your opponent to punish you for taking an early prize card. Like I say, you're not really taking it, but it works as energy acceleration, and you then have to take 1 fewer prize card to win. I really like this. It's not some kind of amazing, game-breaking, brilliant GX attack, but if you compare it to Makago's, same 1 fire energy, discard the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck, there are plenty of games where you want to use Makago's and plenty of games where you'd want to use Blacephalons, so I like it quite a lot. I'm giving Blacephalon 4 Wassies. I'm actually really liking this card. The first attack is fine, it's not great, but on turn 1 when you've got nothing else, it's a decent shout. The main attack here is not good unless you've got energy acceleration, but it fits perfectly into a Makago deck, and I would expect to see it being teched into that. Plus, it works beautifully with B-String. Let's not forget we've still got Kiawe that I mentioned earlier, and we've got Moltres, who is the spiritual successor to the old Volcanion, though it only accelerates 1 energy, not 2, and you're really not struggling for ways to accelerate fire energy here. And then we've got the GX attack, which is either a slightly better or slightly worse version of Kartana's, which we've all been playing. I'm a fan of this, but I want to know what you think about Blacephalon, so do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, but remember the rule. Be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves. Until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.